Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? We are live? Are we live? We are live! We are live! Hey everyone! Oasis ticket queue driving you insane. Yeah, rather you than me, mate. Rather than you than me. Morning, guys. Morning, Camo, Piastri, Mark. Good to see you. And I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Smokey, good to see you guys. Levy, yep, good morning for me here in the UK. Of course, wherever you are in the world, whether it be very early morning, afternoon, or evening, welcome, welcome. We're in for a good day today at Monza. We're in for a very interesting day, I think. Post-COVID completely. Yeah, I'm over it now, thankfully. Yeah, the last of the little cough, the annoying tingly cough that you get that just makes you like look really pathetic. That's now gone, thankfully. Yeah, so all good, all good. 68 something thousand. Wow. Hey, Esper. Yeah, welcome everyone. Who crashes this session, Mark? Well, yes, that brand new race track or surface, shall we say, the new track surface causing some issues yesterday. I think we kind of found out that Kimi was just going too quick, pushing too hard, too early. By the sounds of it, he was he pushed a bit too hard early in the lap. So for the first and second Lesmo, turn 6 and turn 7, spiked the heat in the temperatures. And then when it came to turn 11, as well as the downshift, the rear of the car just couldn't cope with it. And yeah, the rear gave way like it. So a little bit of an experience pushing too hard. But look, Mercedes are clearly happy with him because it's been announced today, as we knew, worst kept secret in F1, that he is going to be alongside George Russell next season. Another youngster, another rookie on the grid for next year. Happy days. And maybe it's not the last rookie we see as well, because there are whispers that Bortoleto, who's doing very well in F2 at the moment, the Sauber Academy driver, may be promoted up into the seat alongside Hulkenberg. So that could be 4 rookies, I think, on the grid next year. So 4. Would that make it 5? Would that make it 4? Liam Lawson, technically not a rookie, but like 5 brand new drivers next year, which is great. Very happy to see Kimi in F1, Kiki in F1 after watching his first F2 win at Silverstone. Yeah. Hey Lee, have I ever been in a Formula 1 car? No, never. No, I've never had the opportunity to sit in one. I'm also probably quite big for an F1 car, Lee. I'm 6'2". I know I don't look it on screen, but I'm 6'2". I'm quite a big lad. So yeah, these F1 cars aren't made for someone of my size. I'd like to sit in one though, just like, even if it's just like a model, just to see like the actual POV, you know, like to see exactly what your vision is. Morning, Philip. Welcome. Morning, Germany. Hope you're doing well. It's got to be lunchtime there now, isn't it? Afternoon for you. You're an hour ahead. Am I doing a Kota special event or nada? What special event's that, Jasper? What special event is there? What, the F1 race? Which is soon. Maybe I will. I want to do the Monza race tonight, but is it not a 24-hour one? No, I can't really commit, obviously, with incumbent baby. Baby, we're a month away now till the due date, so really baby could come anytime. So I can't really commit to any sort of endurance racing right now, so it'd be unfair on anyone I team up with. But first time since 2019 we've had this many rookies. Think so, yeah. New Lando, George, Alex combo. Indeed, indeed. But yeah, no, it's great to see some young blood joining F1. We needed it. The grid was getting stagnant for the first time ever in history. in F1 history we had the same grid from the previous year this year, and I think it kind of thankfully we've had a good season, but the lack of driving quality has shown, isn't it, really? So it's time for some people to move on. This is the top echelon of motorsport, as most people widely consider it to be, and we want the best drivers. There's 20 seats available, nowhere near enough, and we want the best drivers on the grid regardless of age. And I think in previous years we have kept people on for longer, or teams have kept drivers on for longer, for commercial reasons, of course, and Lance Stroll, one of them, is of course the driver now that really stands out, who's on the grid that kind of shouldn't be. But yeah, but practice is open, guys. Practice is open. FP3 underway. Let's see what these drivers are going to do today. So we're seeing some hard compound tyre running to probably get some data on that. That'll most likely be used tomorrow as a race tyre. They can go very long here. I mean, they're interestingly enough, guys, yesterday with the new track surface, the drivers are seeing, or the teams are seeing, a lot more deg than they were expecting. There's a lot of blistering on the tyres, and that could mean that Monza might be a 2-stop tomorrow. So we'll see, or there'll be some severe tyre management. But let's see how the teams get on, of course, wanting to get some data on the hard compound tyre, because they're not maybe comfortable with the data they've got on the soft and the medium that they've run thus far this weekend. I saw someone say, "Hey Emily, how's it going? Welcome, welcome." This is a friendly like stream time, isn't it? For you over in Oz. I can't remember who it was. Someone asked me, Shalish, why is my name Stuffey? Why is my channel name Stuffey? Well, my first name is Scott, so S is initial, and then my last name is Tuffy. Basically spelt how Stuffy is. Yeah, so S Tuffy. Stuffy. There we go. There's no real science behind it. It's not a nickname. It's just basically my first initial and my last name, and I think it rolls off the tongue quite nicely. Long live HRT, yeah. The banter time, yeah. Now, good to see you, Emily. Right, so not many drivers out on grid at the moment. 44-degree track temperature. It is supposed to get hotter today. They were predicting at the start of the week that we might get track temperatures up to 60 degrees, but don't think we are maybe necessarily going to get that now. But yeah, still, the teams are seeing a lot more deg than expected. So, interesting there. So, Bottas and Zhou just scrubbed off that set of hard tyres, no doubt, for the race tomorrow. So they just went and did a sighting lap there on the hard compound tyre, and they're straight back on... Well, no, actually, Bottas doing it on another set of hard compound tyres as well. So Zhou scrubbed off a set of hards, and now he's on the mediums. We'll see if the... looks like Alonso and Stroll are continuing on with the hard compound tyre. So see if they're going to do a couple of laps and change. I don't know how many hard compound tyres they've got with them this weekend, so... Neither can I, Emily, to be fair. It hasn't sunk in yet. It still really hasn't sunk in. Like I look at my partner, and it's like she's a month away. There's a full-grown human inside there, but if they were born today, has its own life and stuff. Like, yeah, crazy. Obviously, people in the chat have been through this whole experience, but yeah, it still hasn't sunk in yet, and I still don't think it will until we get her home. I think that'll be when it truly sinks in, and it's like, okay. Is the baby going to be in the Formula 1? Yes. So the missus did buy something for Formula 1, actually. I'm gonna give me 2 seconds, guys. I've got something really cool to show you. The missus bought this and surprised me with it, and I can't wait to put her in it. But I think it's 6 months to a year old, so it's a lot cheaper to get an F1 car. Depends if you've got Logan Sargent driving it though, Mark. Right, give me 2 seconds, guys. Just want to grab something for you. I got it. Found it. Is it a Merc baby jumpsuit? No, it's not quite a Merc baby jumpsuit. But it is. I can't even fit it in screen. But it's an F1 checkered but Marshall thing. Start them early, you know, guys. Start them early. Yeah, baby onesie, yeah. So it was on the F1 website actually. 15 English pounds. Quite cheap considering for F1 merch. I thought it'd be about 50 quid when she told me she got that. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Now, karting and so forth is another considerable pay rise to get her into karting. Be cheaper probably to get a second sim rig set up. But yeah, really looking forward to it, guys, and sharing the passion. So, do I go on a Grand Prix next year? I don't have any intention to, Philip. No, I might buy the tickets to Friday at Silverstone. I just want to see if I've said this before. I'm genuinely not fussed about going to a Grand Prix weekend. I just like the race on Sunday. I just want to see the cars go around the circuit as a fan. So for me, Friday practice, I'm happy to just. I mean, it should be technically a bit quieter, shouldn't it? But it will be quieter than the weekend, and I just want to experience the cars in first person. Really, I'm not fussed about the actual racing itself because I feel like I will probably lose a bit too much of what's going on, especially while doing these watch-alongs. It's completely transformed my experience of watching F1 now. But I don't think I could watch F1 purely on TV anymore. So the basic Ollie style GoFundMe to start. community driven. Have I tried racing the Caterham? No, never tried racing. Never tried racing the Caterham. I've never done a track day either. I've done very, very limited in real life racing. I've never actually taken a car around the racetrack before. Go-karting is as far as I've gone into in real life racing. It's always just come down to money, really. That's the finances. Even like a decent track day. I haven't even done like the really rubbish ones, which are only like 3 laps. But I need to start tapping some people up, I think. There's potentially something. I had a meeting the other day, and there's potentially something that may happen in the future. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'd love to. But I have no intentions of doing in real life racing. Really, it's not something that I'm seeking or pushing for. It'd be nice to do it as like track days and so forth. But yeah, I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Money ended my career, but you can still have fun trying. Exactly, Emily. Yeah, unfortunately, it is a very expensive sport. It is, and that's the case with many. Golf is not as expensive, but when it comes to pushing to that next step of being a professional and touring and so forth, it's the same thing. You need sponsorships, you need backing, unless you obviously got the financial backing already from your family. It's tough. It's tough to make it as a professional sportsman. In those sports, tennis is similar as well, and F1. Well, motorsport is probably the most expensive out of everything. So, there's an invitation from Team Brit during the pandemic. Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I'll have to hook some people up, make use of some contacts now. I'm getting some more contacts. The people I know have got kind of contacts as well. I need to start tapping some people up. But that's the same with like the F1 weekends, guys. I'd love to go to the Friday practice. The only way I think I'd go to a Grand Prix on Sunday is if I was invited, and it was like a expenses kind of paid thing, or I had to pay limited. I'd have to like put a little bit up front myself, but I'm not going to pay the hundreds of pounds that it costs to go on a Sunday. I know the atmosphere would be great, but yeah, it's not really what I'm looking into. Talent doesn't buy you a seat sometimes. No, imagine the amount of talented drivers who have. I mean, look at it even in F2. look at some of the talented drivers that have come through and excelled. And because they weren't in the right place at the right time, they've now missed their opportunity in F1, you would say. So yeah, most of the time it comes down to money, unfortunately. Look at Lance Stroll. So you could argue even Zhou Guanyu as well. Zhou Guanyu was definitely not one of the best F2 drivers on the grid when he got promoted. And that's because of his sponsorship, his commercial opportunities with Zhou. Got him that promotion to Alfa Romeo. What was the year Zhou was racing in? There were some good drivers with him. I think he finished like 3rd in the championship, 4th in the championship. He was okay, but he wasn't like amazing or anything. And yeah, I think Callum Ilott, maybe. I think Callum Ilott was also in that same year with Zhou, and he got promoted. Tsunoda was... Yeah, Zhou has an incredible amount of money, but it's still not going to be enough, supposedly, to keep him in that F1 seat for next year. Rightfully so, to be honest. Like he's been very poor and completely outperformed by Bottas this year. So yeah, Sargent was definitely, I think, kept on for monetary reasons. I think that's probably why they kept him on after the summer break as well, David. I think he... I don't know why you wouldn't get rid of him before the summer break, and it can only come down to contractual reasons due to obviously the buyout clause, probably. But they'd have to pay him if they cancelled his contract. But of course, Zandvoort was the last straw that broke the camel's back, and yeah, they were better off paying him off and getting him out of that contract and replacing him rather than keeping him on. As George Russell, I think, with the brand new parts. So we had a little bit of a discussion in chat yesterday, guys, didn't we? After Kimi Antonelli's crash, Kimi Antonelli did have the brand new parts on that car yesterday when he crashed at Parabolica. We were wondering in FP2 if George Russell had the new parts on that car still, or if they were damaged. George came out in an interview yesterday and did state that he didn't have the new parts on the car. They were transferred onto Hamilton's. And he will have them on this weekend. So yeah, Mercedes doing some comparative data between the old parts and the new parts, and yeah, supposedly they're going to both have them on this weekend. So we'll see how they get on. Of course, a good lap time there from Piastri, straight to the top on the soft compound tyres. Kevin Magnussen, P6. Now, interestingly as well, guys, they were based on the Pirelli strategy. They are stating that Red Bull are in the lead when it comes to race pace and also qualifying pace as well. Max Verstappen was going quick on his lap yesterday when he then travelled through the corner. And they're basing that he's going to be quickest. It was like, well, you never know, because he went too quick, didn't he, obviously, and went through the gravel. So I don't really how you can base them being the quickest off of half a lap. But yeah, we'll see. No doubt we're going to see some quali runs this morning. Of course, a 20.8 from Piastri. Someone stated yesterday that it's 20. Was it a 20.2 was pole position last year? So that's still 6 tenths off of pole position, by the way, guys. But are they keeping Zhou next season? I'm not sure. Smokey's just said there was a report that Zhou's backers have stamped up 20 million for a seat next year. Don't know if USD. I saw 30 million, Smokey. But I'm not sure if Sauber would even take that on. We'll see. Look, let's be honest. If Zhou stays in F1 next season, we know it's because of the cash, not because of his driving. Simple as. And you can basically say he is a pay driver. Red Bull's rear wing looks different. I can't see at the moment. Hang on. They had the bat wing, didn't they? Basically, recently. I think it's still the rear wing. The same one they were running yesterday. I don't think it's different. Still looks like the Batwing. Hey, Bongoy. Welcome, AK. Welcome, everyone. Emily, you said, do I have a name? We do have a name. We're still keeping our ears out for something else, but we haven't found anything yet that takes our fancy. Yeah, we do have one. We haven't told anyone yet. We're keeping it close to our chests. Someone said it was 4.5 mil for Colapinto to race for the rest of this year. Wow. Yeah, they do reckon. So it costs 3 million to be an F2. It's $1 million. So I think it's $1 million on average the cost for a driver to be in F3. It's $3 million to be in F2, and then F1 on average they say it costs $10 million. You need to be able to basically bring 10 million into an F1 team to be able to have a seat, basically. Like, that's what you need to be able to bring in to justifiably have a seat. Of course, that is a very rough estimate. Of course, drivers come in as a talent, Antonelli and so forth, and other drivers. But it's like, if you're a paid driver, that's like the minimum, basically, you be able to justify you could bring into the team. So maybe. Alpine have changed a lot. The other teams have changed. You can tell they're getting ready for a championship game. Really? Stuffeyy. That's what you guys can refer to her to. What's happening to Alonso? Why is he bouncing around? Not entirely sure. Maybe have a bit of an issue with the GPS data. So this GPS data does come directly from F1 and on the cars, of course. So sometimes there can be some faults that happen in them. Of course, these cars have a tremendous amount of electronics running through these cars. Miles of electronics, actually, and wiring. So sometimes that does go wrong, as Norris goes fastest in the middle sector. Doesn't have a toe, so let's see how he gets on. Can he get ahead of his teammate in P1? He was currently not that much slower, only about a couple of hundredths in the first sector, as Max Verstappen is on a lap as well, I think. Oh, no, he's in the pits. Sorry, he's in the pits. I just saw the sector times update. Here we go, through Parabolica. Let's see how Norris gets on. And he goes fastest. 1/10 exactly ahead of his teammate Piastri. So this is them doing some quali runs, it seems, at the moment. As wow, Lewis Hamilton. So they've flattened the curbs, haven't they, into turn 1. And Lewis Hamilton really cutting the curb there. It's almost like how you have to do in iRacing. Not ideal. As Sainz has gone faster in the first sector. So could see a bit of trading of positions here in this practice session as drivers, teams no doubt running different fuel loads for their quali runs, different engine modes maybe. Still hiding a bit of that pace. But yeah, the McLarens do look strong, don't they? Verstappen not too far back there, probably turned up the engine, setting that sort of lap time on the medium compound tyre as well. Hey, sorry. Kimi's cornering speed yesterday was insane. Yeah, he went too quickly, didn't he? He was no doubt full of adrenaline and just went gun ho from the get go. But fair play to the man. There was no like bedding in, was there? He just went, I'm going for it. So fair play. 20.7 for Sainz that was on the second lap as well. Why would sponsors want to pay for a driver? Do their logos get displayed? Yeah, basically, TC. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. They get their. I mean, F1 is a very lucrative sport, and if you're on a front-running team, especially, your driver. Like, I think most people know, like, world champions, like regular world champions, multiple world champions. They're obviously more marketable. Everyone kind of knows, even if you're just not even aware of kind of F1, people know what F1 is. You know, you don't have to watch it to know what it is. And people would have heard of Max Verstappen. People would have heard of Lewis Hamilton, no doubt, because they're multiple world champions. And that brings a lot of marketability. So naturally, top drivers know how to pace themselves from the get-go. Always been that way. Yeah, he'll learn. So there's definitely going to be a steep learning curve. There is a big learning curve in these modern F1 cars now, especially with the tyres. Normally takes about a year for these drivers to get under wraps with the tyre management. Look at Piastri. It's taken him like a year and a bit, year and a half, you would say, to kind of get under control with the tyre management. That was really where he had the pace, but his tyre management was what let him down, and why Norris was beating him comfortably in races. And this year he's dramatically improved that. He even stated at Hungary that was probably his worst race last year with tyre management in particular, and then this year he won it. He controlled it very well until McLaren ballsed it up for him. Quali will be spicy, yeah. Really hope Ricciardo's gone next year. Wasted seat. Yeah, it's a weird one with Ricciardo because I do think that if he got into that Red Bull alongside Max, I think he would get a bit of a buzz back. And I do think he would completely outperform Perez. He wouldn't be on the same level as Max. I think that level of performance for Ricciardo's gone. But I think he would do a much better job than Perez. But now, of course, that seat is gone. I genuinely think they're going to look to their junior academy. I think Red Bull are going to look at other teams now. There's still, obviously, they could lose Max in 2026. I think they're better off getting rid of Sergio Perez. I'd like to see Yuki in it, but I just don't think Yuki's going to be in that Red Bull system for much longer after next year. But chuck Lawson in there, but make him aware that, look, you're not necessarily fighting Max. This is about the future. And promote Isaac Hadjar if he doesn't win F2. Because I think if he wins F2, is there still that ridiculous rule that they have to sit out a year in F1? And then they've got this Arvin. They were interviewing him on Sky earlier. Arvid Lindblad. Apologies if I've butchered his name. I've raced against him on iRacing, actually. He races quite a bit on iRacing. He's doing very well. He's about to step up to F2 next year, supposedly. He's got an outside opportunity at the F3 Championship tomorrow. He needs the top three kind of to have some misfortune, but he's supposedly very highly rated, as highly rated in the Red Bull system as what Kimi Antonelli is in Mercedes. So they've got some great junior drivers coming through, and I think that's where Red Bull definitely need to look to for the future. Move Ricciardo on, move Perez on, and then bring Lawson in, who is already proven. They'll move Yuki on, and then look at bringing those young drivers, talented drivers that they've got in their junior academy system. That's a risk Red Bull Racing are not willing to take. I don't know. I think it comes down to money again. I think they're getting. I think the accounts team are driving the decisions at Red Bull at the moment. So, remember crash happened? Yeah. Well, as they always say, you can make a fast driver more reliable, but you can't make a slow, reliable driver faster. So that's what they would always prefer. So, how are Haas looking? Where are they? 9th and 12th. Haas at the moment have the highest top speed of anyone this weekend. Nico Hülkenberg looks very quick in the first sector, so they've definitely, which has kind of been a very strong characteristic of the Haas this year, is the top speed. So they've always been difficult to overtake in a straight line. So I think we could see a good performance, particularly from Hülkenberg in qualifying this afternoon and in the race. So they're going to be difficult to overtake even with DRS, I think. Am I driving Cadwell on iRacing next week? Yeah, I'm going to give it a go, Frog. Yeah, definitely. Perez known for defence, Rick known for offence. Personally, the good defender is a slower guy for me. He's defending too much. Yeah. He's just lost his confidence and just found... I mean, I think Perez will find himself in F1. He'll have a year out in 2025. I'd be very surprised if they keep him on. If they do, it just shows the way Red Bull are going. And look, their downfall is going to be their own doing. If they don't look to Liam Lawson, if they don't look to the junior academy that they've got and the bright talents they've got. But I think he'll find himself back in F1, even if he has a year out, just because the amount of money that he brings. A midfield team would take that. They would definitely take that. You think Red Bull Racing are done anyway? Is that cycle of dominance? I don't think. Yeah, I think the cycle of dominance has ended. I'm not going to say they're done as a team, because they're still going to be up there competing for wins and for podiums and the championship. I don't think they're going to disappear. But yeah, the dominance that they've had over the past couple of years has ended. It hasn't lasted as long as what Mercedes dominance did, and that's partly because of the cost cap as well. The cost cap has kind of ensured that Red Bull can't just throw millions of pounds at it to, well, multi-millions of pounds at it to stay that step ahead, which Mercedes were able to do through, of course, the 10 years they were dominant, or 8 years, sorry. But yeah, you just want to see young new talent, don't you? You want to see the best drivers on there and other drivers be given an opportunity, which we are now starting to see from next year. So I'm really excited for 25. Verstappen is not comparable to Antonelli. I think he is comparable to Antonelli, especially in regards to their junior careers and like their tests. Okay, Verstappen had a test at 17 and he didn't crash. But there's a lot to compare with Verstappen and Antonelli in regards to their junior career. They both had very good junior careers, winning championships at a junior level. And that's where we're at now. You can't compare them where they are now because Max Verstappen is 8 years ahead. There's a really good video clip going around, actually, where I think it's 2017. 2017, you've got, they're doing the national anthem. And Lewis Hamilton's at the front, Max Verstappen standing alongside him, and Kimi Antonelli at 10 years old is there standing as a grid boy in front of Lewis Hamilton with like the biggest smile on his face. And 8 years later, he's now taking Lewis Hamilton's vacant seat and will be racing against Max and Lewis. So Red Bull has too many internal conflicts. That's definitely a big factor at the moment there. How much does Perez bring money to the team? I don't know, but supposedly it's got to be more. So he brings in 70% of the merch revenue, which is a lot at Red Bull, considering who his teammate is. And he's got, you look at the list of sponsors that he's got, I mean, it's very high-profile sponsors that Sergio Perez has got. And he's got the backing of one of the richest men in the world, in Carlos Slim. He's a multi-billionaire, and it's got to be more than what the Constructors' Championship is. It's got, like, why would you keep Sergio Perez on if you... I personally wouldn't keep Sergio Perez on unless he could front up the cash in what they could potentially lose from coming second in the Constructors' Championship. That difference. So, yeah, it's millions. You're talking millions of pounds that he could bring in. Who will win the Italian GP? I do think Lando. I said this yesterday. I think the podium is going to be Lando, Piastri. I think it's going to be McLaren 1-2. And I think Lewis Hamilton will be third. My bold prediction is that Max Verstappen won't be on the podium. But we'll see. We'll see. RB is also the only team with 4 cars. Hench's topic, but yes, technically true. No Rose Echo. More than 60 mil a year. Wow. Josh is a pain in the arse. Yeah, he's down. He's got a lot of reason for the internal conflicts as well. He is a big reason. I do think Verstappen is going to end up. I do think my prediction was in 2026 we will see a driver lineup of Kimi Antonelli and Max Verstappen, and George Russell will be the one who ends up at Mercedes. I'm telling you now, because next year all of the pressure is just shifted. People will think the pressure is on Antonelli. Oh, no. No. He's like the prodigal son of Toto Wolff. George Russell now has got all that pressure on him because if he doesn't perform, he is going to be out of a seat because it's been open. Like, we know now it's open. In the open, they had conversations. Verstappen had conversations with Mercedes. So George Russell is so much under pressure for next year. If he doesn't perform, then he'll be out, especially if they can get Verstappen. Verstappen and Antonelli as teammates. The RB is an older version, heavier turbo with a top-end advantage. Both their teams should do well here. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Alex Albon, P8 at the moment. Fastest in the first sector. We know the Williams has good top-end speed as well. And always goes quite nice here. Wow! Top of the timing sheets. Take a picture, guys. Stop the count. Alex Albon in P1 at the moment. 20.596. A lot of Red Bull is sold in Mexico. Is it, David? Interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, Perez is surprisingly as well really well supported across Asia. People who have been to some of the Asian races, Singapore, Japan, China. Like, he has, there's so much of his merch out there. Russell is going to be Valtteri, do you think? Difference between P1 and P2 in constructors is less than 20 mil. Then yeah, there's no. I reckon Carlos Slim definitely. There's been a discussion there. There's been a discussion there. Because if you were the team, if you were members of that team, of the Red Bull team, you would get a bonus for finishing first in the constructors. Like, you keep Sergio Perez on. That's basically Red Bull like basically saying you're not getting a bonus this year. Hey Vosh. Max and Kimi would be like Alonso Hamilton 2007. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I never really thought of it that way. You are right. That could be like that. Red Bull is much slower in compared. Yeah, well, so the thing is, in regards to the mediums and what we can't tell from these times, guys, is the deg. So they may be slower at the moment, Red Bull, but they might be going slower for a reason, because obviously they're trying to manage the degradation on the tyres because of this new track surface. So while Russell and Hamilton might have gone faster are going faster at the moment, that's not necessarily indicative that they're going to be faster tomorrow over a race distance, because they could be taking more life out of their tyres. So they're still trying to figure out, no doubt, what the deg is per lap on these set of tyres, or on these tyres for Sunday. But all of the top teams have not run the hard compound tyre. No one's run really the hard compound tyre. As you can see there, the guys that have done a lap on the hard compound tyres is literally just to scrub that shine off of them, so they can get more temperature into them quickly come Sunday on their outlap. But yeah, generally it's the hard compound tyre is going to be used tomorrow as a race tyre, and no one's used it. What's my opinion on Lando? I think Lando's a great driver. He's learning. He's made a lot of mistakes, but the only way you learn from mistakes is by continuing to put yourself into those positions and improve on them the next time you're in that position, which is what Lando's doing. So in fairness to him, where I'd given him a lot of criticism about his poor starts, it seems to be the McLaren has had a mechanical issue with its race starts this year. Yes, some of them have been Lando's fault in not implementing those starts correctly, but I'd say probably half of them have also been McLaren's fault. So we'll see if that rears its ugly head again this weekend. But yeah, he's there's things that he should have done better. 100%. He should have at least probably 5 wins under his belt now, and that championship fight between him and Max should be less than a race win, but it's not. So even if he doesn't win the championship this year, it's the same regs for next year, and that McLaren's not going to go anywhere for next year. It's still going to be up there fighting, and he can really hit the ground running at the start of next year and use this year as experience. Comparing Antonelli to Hamilton is ludicrous. Who compared Antonelli to Hamilton? No, we're just comparing it to the the situation that Verstappen and Antonelli would be in if that happened in 2026, because that was the position Lewis was in when he was in his rookie years. That Alonso was the 2-time reigning world champion, leaving Renault to go to McLaren, and look, Lewis showed him up. And they nearly won that year, didn't they? So there's potential of that happening again if that situation was to arise, similar circumstances. But I think hard tyres are going to be in a race. Definitely, yeah, they are. They always are here. They always are, because we're running the softest compound tyre here at Monza, because generally speaking, the degradation isn't that high, but because of the new track surface, we are seeing a lot more of it. So that's what the teams are trying to figure out in this FP3 session, because of what they saw yesterday. Max doesn't like a fast teammate, so he won't want to join Kimi at Mercedes. He may want to join. He will want to join him if they are much quicker than Red Bull, and the the Red Bull still doesn't show improvements behind the scenes, especially in regards to its engine partnership with Ford, which rumours are that not going so well at the moment for their partnership. So Mercedes, who last dominated the biggest engine change? Mercedes. So we're going for a big engine change again. And when you look at it, Mercedes engines do very well. They are doing very well in the Mercedes, in the McLaren. Mercedes engines in themselves have always been very good. Chances Max leaves and takes Marco and the drink money with him very high, leaving Horner with a Ford F1 team. Yeah, I think so. I think if Max goes, Marco goes as well. I didn't realise how close of a relationship they had. But yeah, I think if Max goes, Marco goes. The internal struggles at Red Bull are not over by any means. Look, they've just had Adrian Newey announce that he's leaving. Jonathan Wheatley. Like, these are two guys who have been at Red Bull for 20 years. They've been essential figures in their success. And they're now leaving within the space of a year. Is it because they've got bored? Or is it because they're fed up with the direction that Red Bull is heading in? With, of course, the head of the Mateschitz family, Dietrich Mateschitz, was it? I think that's how you pronounce his name, passing away last year. There's a big power struggle going on there. As the Ferraris at the end here, do not rule them out for this weekend. Of course, lots of new upgrades on their cars. Do not rule them out for a potential win or a front row start for tomorrow in qualifying. We know they're quick. Top of the speed traps there, by the way, guys, as well. 203 miles an hour down the main straight for Leclerc and Sainz equally. Total description of Anthony's lyrics: his talent was higher than what the tyres could handle. Sounds like a definition of a crash to me. Yeah, basically. So, my point is that Lewis destroyed everyone in GP2 the year before. Antonelli is nowhere. Very different circumstances, though, David. This year, if you look at Prima in general, Prima, however you like to pronounce them, they have had. We've got brand new cars in F2 this year. They've gone from obviously the old regs that F1 were running to the ground effect era to ensure that the cars that they're driving are closer in performance and handling and so forth to the actual F1 cars. And the teams that normally do well in F2 have struggled to get a handle under the understanding of these cars and have started very slowly. So the likes of Ollie Behrman and Kimi Antonelli and Prima haven't had the dominance that they would have done in previous years, or at least been fighting up the front more than in previous years. Plus, you could also argue that the standard of F2 is a lot higher than it's been in a while as well. I mean, you look at a number of the drivers there; they're all got really, I think, Bartoletto. So you got Colapinto is now in F1, obviously for the rest of the season. Could be in the future as well. You've got Behrman being promoted. You've got, of course, I know Antonelli now, but you've got that Bartoletto who's doing very well. Isaac Hadjar is rumoured to be potentially in the V-Carb for next year. Also, so there's a number of drivers, and Paul Aaron. I mean, there's loads really who could probably make the step up to F1 tomorrow if they were given the opportunity. So yeah, there's also that to go into it, but we'll see. Time will tell, won't it? Time will tell. Horner's digital conduct earlier in the year has completely disrupted Red Bull. That and other things as well, TC. I think there's been a massive power struggle for quite some time, and that kind of just maybe kick-started some more of the... or probably put it into gear, a higher gear in regards to that power struggle, because people then align themselves with Horner against him. So... why does Perez not have DRS? Because he's probably not wanting to use it because he might not have it throughout the race. You don't always do... oh yeah, why is it not highlighted at all? Interesting. Maybe he's just not using it. Maybe that's just... it's probably just a data thing. When's quali? 3 o'clock this afternoon, UK time. So basically just under 3 hours, guys, or over 2.5 hours until qualifying gets underway. If you want to join us for that, you can hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button as well to show your support for the stream and the channel, and turn your notifications on, importantly, because you'll get notified half an hour before I go live to head into the stream for when qualifying starts. I'll be going live 15 minutes before qualifying starts, or so yeah, you'll get notified half an hour before that, so that you can have some lunch, make yourself a tea, coffee, grab yourself a beer even, or a glass of wine. Get ready to sit down for qualifying. Gonna be a good one, Monza. We'll see what shenanigans occur because, of course, the tow, the slipstream, very powerful here. No doubt team orders are going to be in play. Who's going to give who a tow? Of course, we've seen shenanigans in the past here at Monza. Did anyone see the F3, guys? Wow, did anyone see F3 qualifying yesterday? They literally came to a standstill. I cannot believe it's even allowed. It's ridiculous. They came to a standstill between the first and second Lesmo, turn 6 and turn 7, and they crashed, and one of the drivers crashed at the back of the pack because he came around the second Lesmo, and they were all parked up. I don't know how anyone didn't get a penalty. It was ridiculous and so dangerous. There's been a few shenanigans this year with the F3 qualifying, but of course we've seen it in F1 in the past, which is why we now have that maximum lap time that drivers have to adhere to stop that sort of stuff happening. It takes a lot more bravery to drive a ground aerodynamic grip car fast compared to coming from a mechanical grip car. Yeah, it does, yeah. What did Drogovic and Elagto have to do to get a seat? Well, Drogovic thought he positioned himself well in the Aston Martin because of Fernando Alonso being there. And someone did ask, when do I think Fernando Alonso will be moving on from F1? I think next year's his last year. If he has a good year next year, I think they might keep him on for one more year for 2026. But if he doesn't, I think they'll probably get rid of Fernando Alonso and look to bring someone else in. Now, could Max Verstappen head to Aston Martin? That's a rumour that's been circulating since the rumoured supposed move for Adrian Newey for Aston Martin. So could that potentially happen? Could we see Max Verstappen alongside Lance Stroll? Would he prefer that? Because you know that Max, someone stated, Max doesn't want a quick second driver alongside him. Would he prefer to go to Aston Martin where Adrian Newey is there? And one, it would no doubt put him as the most well-paid driver on the grid. Imagine how much they're going to pay Max Verstappen a year, Lawrence Stroll. And then, of course, he'd have Lance Stroll as his teammate, who he knows he can completely wipe the floor of. So we'll see. We'll see. Next year is going to be very interesting with drivers positioning themselves for 2026. Some of them have already done that, the likes of Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, Charles Leclerc and McLaren are shored up. But yeah, we'll see what's still going to happen with Mercedes, Aston Martin, and so forth. And of course, Red Bull. But Leclerc increasing his time. They said that is level, I believe, guys, with the pole position that we had last year, a 20.2. So we're now at that mark. That's 13 laps soft. So that indicates how much quicker these current generation cars are compared to last year. That on 13 lap old softs, we've already hit the pole position time of last year. So yeah, Leclerc and Sainz just doing some long runs at the moment, maybe turning the engine mode up just a little bit, or maybe some fuel coming off the car. But Norris and Piastri on their out laps at the moment, so I'm not sure Piastri's on an actual flying lap though. We will see with his first sector time. No, his first sector time was slow, so he's on a he's going to do another out lap. He wants to let Charles Leclerc go by. They're churning soft tyres. Yeah, well, you want the harder compound tyres and the mediums available on Sunday. So I don't think we're going to be, well, teams aren't going to have the luxury of being able to do multiple runs on brand new sets of softs like they did last week at Zandvoort. So qualify Q3, maybe they will have 2 brand new sets available, but Q2 we'll see them on a set of used. We'll see them do a run on used tyres, then a set on new. Oh, Lando's been able to get a lap in. You can see there as Piastri was wanting to gear up his lap. Maybe he'll do a lap this time as Norris goes through Parabolica. Let's see what lap time this is. Fastest in the second sector. Wasn't that far off the fastest first sector time as well. This is definitely going to put him to the top of the timing sheets. Oh, maybe not. Slow last sector there from Lando Norris. Slow last sector. Did he back off? Or did he just did he have a bit of a wobble there? We'll see. We'll see. Albon's absolutely outdriven that Williams. Yeah, well, it shows you, doesn't it, what they could do. It shows you what they could do. I mean, look at where Colapinto is right now, right? So Albon's up there in P4. Colapinto's 3 tenths behind his teammate, right? If it was this stage in the session, Logan Sargent, even at this stage, would still be probably down in 15th place, 14th place. Colapinto's up there in P8 after some quali runs. So, Piastri, Leclerc and Ricciardo. Ooh, Piastri has been noted for impeding. I saw him going a bit slow there through turn 4 and 5 and all the way through turn 7. So, hopefully that's not a penalty for Piastri. We'll see. That's why I bowed out. Yeah, we'll see, Kristen. But hopefully Oscar doesn't get a penalty there in for impeding Piastri, Leclerc and Ricciardo. I don't think anyone was on a fast lap. So hopefully... Or maybe Ricciardo was. I'm not sure. But we'll see. Waiting to see a replay of it. Will the McLarens take the first 2 spots? Pure, but not sure who will get third yet. Yeah, I think the McLarens are still going to be fast. It says Piastri now into second. So you may be thinking, why is Leclerc first on a set of 14-lap-old tyres? Well, that's most likely due to engine modes and maybe fuel load as well. Expensive learning seconds, if so, for Piastri. Yeah. Oscar was on a fast lap. And, no, it wasn't, Christian. No. So whenever it comes up at the bottom, incident involving cars, the car that is first is always the one that's done the impeding. The cars that come after that are the ones who are the victim of it. Big thank you to everyone tuning in, by the way. I didn't even realise we've got 700 viewers in here. Big thank you. 12 minutes remaining of this FP3 session. We have drivers out there on brand new sets of softs doing some quali runs as we are heading into the final stages of this practice session. So you can see the 2 Mercedes out there, Russell and Hamilton on brand new softs. Russell going to be giving Hamilton a tow. Is that an indication that Mercedes think Hamilton has the best opportunity of starting as far up as possible? Also, just wanted to say, I did miss it. Calling marker, thank $50. What? Thank you very much, brother. Thank you, man. Wow. Why did my alerts not come up for that? Oh, man. Thank you very much. I'm so glad I didn't skip over that. I did see it come up. I just lost my track of thought. But, oh, wow. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. And, yeah, if you can hit that subscribe button, we are trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, as you can say there. A little bit of a target for us this weekend. What another brilliant milestone that'll be for us to achieve. I think we've more than doubled our sub count from the start of the year. So big thank you to everyone who's joined this great community and is continuing to enjoy the content. Just watching Piastri incident here, the impeding. Piastri not happy with... Oh, dear Piastri. Oh, Piastri could... Oh, Oscar Piastri may get a pet. Oh, he was looking in the wrong mirror. He thought he was going left. He went right. Hopefully he doesn't get a penalty for that. That was close. Leclerc had to take to the grass. He had to take to the grass as he was looking in his left-hand mirror, thinking Leclerc was going to stay on the racing line. He moved over to the right, and Leclerc actually had decided to go round to the right. As you can see there, investigated after the session. So I think that's a genuine mistake from Piastri. Hopefully it's not penalised. He was looking in his mirrors. It's not like he wasn't checking. Just kind of just one of those things. It was a bit of poor timing, really, as he was trying to let someone let Leclerc by, but Leclerc had chosen the other side of his car. But thankfully, all both okay. But Hamilton and Russell, while we was talking there, a 120.1, so that's now faster than the pole position lap from last year. Of course, Hamilton getting us a tow there from George. So maybe the tow not as effective as we thought it was going to be. But George Russell, a great lap from him as he was punching the air in front, or punching a hole for Lewis Hamilton in front, a 120.2. So looking very tight at the top there, guys. Looking very tight. Of course, we still don't know engine modes. We still don't know fuel loads. But yeah, it's looking good for a close qualifying this afternoon. Are the Red Bulls back out there yet with 8.5 minutes remaining? Not yet. Not yet. Who else is on a lap? Let's see. Esteban Ocon is on a lap, but he's going to have to get through a lot of traffic, it seems, there. As George Russell was saying, that actually felt pretty rubbish. Balance is quite a long way off. Did I recover from COVID? Yes, I'm all good. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I'm much better from COVID now. So, yeah, I had that cough that was lingering, but thankfully we're all over and done with that. So I'm much better. But yeah, back once again, thank you to Calling Marker, and thank you to anyone who's been subscribing and continuing to build this channel here, guys. Glad you've been enjoying it, and of course we're in for a good one this afternoon. There's Oscar Piastri now, fastest in the first sector out of anyone, and that's by around 0.04 of a second without a tow, as well as Nico Hülkenberg. I'm telling you, keep an eye out on Nico Hülkenberg this afternoon. He is rapido in that first sector. One of the fastest drivers all weekend in that first sector at the top speed of that Haas. It's going to be very difficult to overtake the Haas this weekend. I think a lot of cars, even with the extended DRS that we have here of over 100 meters this year to try and improve overtaking. Of course, DRS with the skinny rear wings, not as effective as it is at a high downforce circuit. But bit of a slow middle sector for Nico Hülkenberg. But how about Oscar Piastri? He's slow in the middle sector as well, and he's come into the pit lane. So he's bowed out of that, Oscar Piastri. He bowed out of that and has come into the pits, but he was going very quick in that first sector. Maybe he made a slight mistake. That's a moment. Yeah, we spoke about Antonelli this earlier on. Yeah, he'll learn from it though. Steep learning curve. It won't be his last practice session, I assume, for this year. Of course, he just turned 18, so I think that's why they had to wait for him to turn 18 before he could do an official practice session. Of course, what a better place for him to do it. Of course, it didn't end well, but at his home circuit. Well, Imola is his home circuit, but at his technically this is another home race for him. So yeah. He will be in another rookie session, no doubt, before the end of the year. So that won't be the last time we see Antonelli in the Mercedes overalls for 2024. Of course, announced for 2025. So interesting partnership, him and George Russell. Anyone else out there on brand new? So Leclerc's on a brand new set of softs. Let's see how he gets on, shall we? Is he going to actually do a lap, or is he going to come into the pits? Is he just scrubbing off a set? His marker's going a bit slow. It doesn't look like he's on an actual fast lap. He's trudging his way down the start-finish straight. Interesting. Did the Mercedes W15 have the pace to challenge for the win this weekend? I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. It's looking good. I think it's going to be close. I think it is going to be close. I mean, the Ferraris look good. The McLarens, we know the McLarens are probably still holding a bit of pace in their back pocket as well, not showing their full hand. I don't think any team's shown their full hand yet, to be honest. Especially Red Bull. Red Bull definitely not showing their hand. Although, what I'm a bit worried about with Verstappen is that from the images that I've seen, he seems to be... The car seems to be sliding around quite a bit. And that's not going to be good for their deg throughout the course of the race. So, see, that the Red Bull still looks to be a bit of a handful. As we saw, of course, in Zandvoort. But this is a different package that they've got on the car, the low downforce package. So we'll see. Do I think someone could beat Lewis's record for the least races to win a race? Yeah, of course, someone will do at some point. Yeah. Perez is 2. Yeah. Are we not going to talk about Perez anymore? No, I'm done talking about Perez, Henry. I'm done talking about Perez. He's on a lap now. Is he on a flying lap? No, it looks like he's slowing down. So he's on another lap as well. So they're doing 2 prep laps. Charles Leclerc has done a second prep lap, which is interesting. So it looks like that this might be an indication of what we may see in qualifying is the tyre warm-up not being sufficient on a single outlap. They may have to do 2 outlaps. Of course, not a lot of corners at Monza, only 11. And, well, 3 of them are chicanes. Well, how many of them? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the corners are chicanes, technically speaking, as they're numbered here on the circuit. So not a lot. Not a lot of places, of course, for load to be put through the tyres to warm them up. So an extra outlap might be what we're going to see in the qualifying this afternoon. But Leclerc on a lap, 26.5 for him, so that puts him P8, believe it or not, in the Sector 1 leaderboard time. But that is only a tenth slower than Nico Hülkenberg and Piastri. But that is quite a sufficient gap in the first sector. Let's see if he can recover it in the middle as he heads down to Ascari chicane. Very, very quick set of corners here through turn 8, 9, flick left and right. Then left again, and it's a 27.1. So a couple of attempts down, Charles Leclerc on his fastest, and he's already backed out of it. Yeah, he's already backed out of it. So clearly not quick enough for Leclerc. Made an error there through the middle sector. That's why he's backed out, and he wouldn't improve. So probably saved his set of tyres a little bit, and he'll probably pit now with only 2.5 minutes remaining, guys. Imagine Kimi breaks it in the Hamilton record. Yeah, maybe. It all depends. Look, you're still very reliant on the car that teams provide. But look, the regulations aren't going to... The regs aren't changing dramatically next year like they didn't for this year. Some slight clarifications, no doubt. Some slight alterations. But primarily, the car they're using this year is still going to be the car they're using next year. Just an evolution of that. And no doubt, if we end the season with it being as close as it currently is, Kimi Antonelli is going to be in a quick Mercedes. So, yeah. What are the new curbs like? Shit. Excuse my language, guys. The new curbs are naff. They've removed the sausage curbs and they've put in some basically flat curbs where the drivers can just launch themselves over them. It's especially Ascari chicane. Ascari chicane is it's just kind of too easy now. That they've taken away any kind of precision out of Ascari chicane. You off? Yeah. 2 sets, guys. Missy's on her way out. I need to say goodbye. Free house this afternoon, guys. What should we do? Woo! Where's the special livery? For who? What, for Ferrari? Yeah, apparently they've got one, and I can't see the difference. I can see the difference. What a helmet they've got, though, guys. Have you seen the helmets that Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz are running? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If it's a 2-stop, that means Yuki on a 1-stop to make sure he fouls. No, we'll do a 3-stop, guy. So the Missed Apex podcast last week, guys, I was meant to be on it, but there was a shift in personnel at the last minute, which is fine. I am supposed to be on it this weekend, I believe. I need to check the spanners. But one thing they failed to mention, of course, in their Missed Apex award was the RB team. Once again, ballsing up Yuki Tsunoda's strategy. Unbelievable. And it just seems to be... It's just alternating between Ricciardo and Tsunoda. They must flip a coin. They must flip a coin in the garage and go, who are we going to give the crap strategy to this weekend? Because Ricciardo and Tsunoda are always on... Whenever they've got kind of decent races going on, they make such a bad strategy call. It just doesn't make sense. And yeah, it was Ricciardo not too long ago, and then Tsunoda last weekend at Zandvoort. Real shame. But there we go, guys. There we go. We are done for FP3. Every car out on circuit to do their practice starts. And interested there, Colapinto update. As you can see, right behind his teammate in P9. He's only 3 tenths behind Alex Albon there, of course, in the quali run. And that's probably a lot closer than I think Logan Sargent would have ever been. So, good start for Colapinto this weekend in his first F1 race. Interesting there that Verstappen set the fastest last sector out of anyone. Only by a couple of thousandths of a second, just ahead of Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc. But Max Verstappen turning it on there right at the end, as we are now no longer going to see cars on track after this until qualifying in a few hours' time. The missus comes first. Yeah, I've got to look up. Not just the missus and the bump. Got to look after them both, you know. The $1 billion man versus the Flying Dutchman. RB clearly hires some Ferrari strategies. Who's winning Monza? I'm still going Lando. I still think that the McLarens have got something. Still think it's getting really close though. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mercedes up there. Wouldn't be surprised to see Charles Leclerc on pole position as well. I think we're genuinely in the top 6 as it is. And yes, I'm ruling out Sergio Perez. I think the top 6 or top 7 are going to be very close in qualifying. Very close. So I don't think we're going to see a shocker in regards to them not making it through to Q3. But I think it's going to be very close. It could be one of the closest qualifyings we have seen in a very long time between like the top 7. He was disappointed at Mercedes' performance last week. Yeah, it wasn't good for them. I mean, Lewis did say that if he'd done a good qualifying, he reckons he was the 3rd fastest out there. And I think his pace kind of did indicate that. He was doing very well. I mean, he finished only just behind his teammate, George Russell, and George was started P4, didn't he? So the bump is very, very important. Yeah, it's just going very well in the home stretch. But yeah, there we go, guys. That is FP3 as drivers are coming around to do their start time. So let's just have a look. I'm just watching Max Verstappen again, and yeah, every time I see video footage of Max Verstappen, the car just doesn't look planted. I mean, it's like quick, but I'm not sure it's sustainable over a race distance, and that's the problem that Max is having at the moment. Is that he's having issue. Oh, Magnussen's pulled over again. We're on the in lap. And Magnussen's broken down. Magnussen has broken down heading into the Ascari chicane there. Some late drama here, guys, as we're on the in lap of this practice session. I'd be very surprised if that's a crash, because it is a dead straight. It is straight down there. Magnussen crashed yesterday at turn 7, and it's looking like Magnussen is gone very slow, and there's a car failure for a new chicane for the race, Mark. Car failure for the Haas driver on his way into the pit lane or round to the start-finish line to do a practice start. And yes, he's just pulled over to the side and the car has failed on him. What has happened? Just waiting for team radio to come up. Oh, wow. A very urgent team engineer there onto Magnussen, just saying, stop the car now, stop. Nothing from Kevin Magnussen. There's something that they've seen in the car that has made them realise, like, you cannot go any further. Is it an engine failure? Or is it a battery failure? Who knows? But the engineer sounded very urgent in his calls over the radio there to Kevin Magnussen. Just car failure. We don't know what the reason is, but the engineer came over the radio and asked Magnussen to stop. And it was very, very persistent with his messaging there. So Haas, Nico Hulkenberg's into the pit lane now. But yeah, very, 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 very interesting. Magnussen's not going anywhere at the moment. Of course, he has to sit in the car while he waits for the track to be safe and clear. But interesting end to this practice session, guys. But let's have a run through the grid. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell at the top of your timing sheets there in P1 and P2. Less than a tenth separating them. Lewis Hamilton with a 20.1, George Russell with a 20.2. An interesting fact, guys, that a 20.2 was pole position last year. So it's looking like we're going to smash the pole position from last year as these cars just get quicker and quicker. Charles Leclerc in P3, Piastri P4, Norris P5. Piastri is going to be investigated for impeding Charles Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo after this session. I think it would be a harsh penalty if he is given it, as he was looking in his mirrors to try and move out of the way. And it just seemed to be that as he moved, Charles Leclerc decided to go the same way. Verstappen in P6 and a Red Bull that, yes, as I was saying, just looks to be on edge. We know Max likes a car on edge, but it seems very twitchy. I'm not sure how good that's going to translate to a race pace. We will see. Sainz in P7, Albon and Colapinto, the two Williams in 8th and 9th. Hulkenberg in 10th. Good top line speed, the Haas is. Wouldn't be surprised to see Nico Hulkenberg get into Q3, guys. Alonso in P11, Ricciardo and Tsunoda 12th and 13th, Gasly 14th, Stroll 15th, Magnussen, as we've just seen, broken down there in P16 on the back straight, heading down to Ascari chicane. Ocon in 17th, Perez. Yes, guys, Perez. I know it's only practice, but Perez in 18th. Bottas in 19th, and Zhou Guan Yu, as he has been pretty much most of the season, in 20th. Now he doesn't have Logan Sargent to worry about or battle against. He's down in 20th position on his own. So, yeah, that is the last of this practice session, the last timings. And, yeah, we're going for a very, very close afternoon, guys. Very, very close qualifying. I think that top 7 could be in any order. It could be in any order. Loss of oil pressure, engine or hydraulic. Yeah, it's definitely going to be something to do with that. Yeah. At least he broke down at the end and they can recover the car easily. Yeah, exactly. They probably got all the data that they needed, but it's never nice for the car to break down there. Of course, they've got a few hours to rectify what the issue is. Less than 2 hours, guys. Less than 2 hours. But there we go, guys. That is it for the end of this practice session. A big thank you to everyone who's tuned in and everyone who's subbed. We're at 29,197. I just see it scroll over there. Big thank you to all the subs that have come in. Where is my events list? Give a couple of shout outs to those of you who have subbed. The only one who's actually showing up who subbed is Jerry there. So anyone else who has subbed and it hasn't shown up as an alert, big thank you, guys. YouTube does work in strange ways. You don't have your channel on public or public subscribers, something along those lines. But yeah, Cordy Marker, thank you for the $50 donation, much appreciated. It'll be put to good use. I may go buy some more Baby Grows. You missed it, guys. The F1 Baby Grow official merchandise. It's not a plug, but I may go see what other merch they've got and put that to good use. That's the thing. My money's not going to myself anymore, is it? It's gonna go. It's going there. So, but yeah, big thank you, guys. Thanks for the subs, Fernan, and yeah, we will see you in a few hours' time, guys. I'm gonna set the stream up now. You can head on over there and wait in the waiting room, basically. Have a chat amongst yourselves, but turn your notifications on to be alerted half an hour before the stream goes live. I'm gonna go live 15 minutes before, so we can G ourselves up. And yeah, get ready. No doubt going to be a really close and intriguing qualifying here at Monza this afternoon. So, have you ever been to a race, Rab? No. I said this earlier. I'd just love to go to a practice session, to be fair, and I might go to a practice session next year. So, but yeah, have a lovely afternoon, guys, or have a good lunch, and we'll catch you in a few hours' time. See you then. Bye.